Since 9/11, Al-Qaeda has spread from Afghanistan to countries in the Middle East, Asia, and Europe. It also occupies new virtual spaces on the internet. The changing face of the movement makes it harder and harder to forecast where the next 9/11 attacks will come from, and just who will carry them out.
Al-Qaeda is now a global franchise. Anybody who has a score to settle with the Western power, with America in particular, that is Al-Qaeda.
Young Arab men traveling to the U.S. from the Middle East cannot escape the scrutiny of U.S. security. It is more likely that Al-Qaeda's future foot soldiers will come from Western nations, like their 9/11 predecessors, who lived in Hamburg, Germany. Citizens from many European countries are eligible to enter and remain in the U.S. for up to 90 days without a visa. Al-Qaeda's recruiting efforts increasingly target Europeans and dual citizenship holders. In the summer of 2006, Al-Qaeda uses London as the springboard for an ambitious new terror plot against the United States. On August 10th, the police arrest 24 British-born Muslims accused of preparing a deadly attack against U.S.-bound aircraft. The would-be terrorists reportedly hoped to smuggle undetectable liquid explosives onto as many as 10 planes, leaving London's Heathrow Airport. Rashid Rauf is the alleged ringleader of the operation and a British-born citizen holding English and Pakistani passports. Rauf has extensive connections to Al-Qaeda. His cell is the second to emerge in England in a little over a year, and part of a troubling overall trend. As European society proves an increasingly fertile ground for homegrown terror, U.S. Al-Qaeda experts are forced to consider America's worst nightmare, that future attacks could come from an enemy within. But so far, American Muslims have proven largely immune to Al-Qaeda's militant rhetoric. In fact, U.S. mosques have been an important first line of defense against extremism. Experts say that counter-terrorist efforts would probably fail without the help of American Muslims.
We certainly don't have the capacity, the FBI doesn't have the capacity to monitor and penetrate the Muslim community in the United States in the way that you would have to try to thwart internal operations generated by radical American Muslims.
The threat of internally spawned terror attacks proves to be real. During the summer of 2006, 7 members of a Miami group called the Seas of David reportedly swear an oath of allegiance to Osama bin Laden. With no formal connection to bin Laden, the Miami cell allegedly seeks weapons, financing, and training from an FBI agent posing as an Al-Qaeda operative. The targets of their proposed terrorist operation are the FBI's Miami field office and Chicago's Sears Tower. On June 23rd, the FBI arrests all 7 men associated with the plot. 5 are U.S. citizens. Most of the group's members are unemployed with criminal records. Wearing homemade Stars of David patches and subscribing to an amalgamation of Jewish, Christian, and Islamic beliefs, the Seas of David are often described as more of a gang or a cult than a true Al-Qaeda cell. But some experts argue that Al-Qaeda itself is just one big cult. Here in Saudi Arabia, authorities handle enemy combatants like brainwashed cult followers in need of deprogramming.
When these people are captured, they're immediately brought into contact with their families so that they can re-establish family ties. And then they are put with a psychiatrist who studies their cases, tries to figure out therapy for them. And then they're brought into contact with religious teachers who challenge their basic philosophical beliefs.
While America keeps suspected Al-Qaeda locked away in foreign prisons like Guantanamo Bay, Saudi Arabia releases those it judges cured.
Those who had not yet become actual criminals, they have been released from jail.
This novel approach to the Al-Qaeda problem seems unlikely to ever be implemented in America. But it's simply a well-meaning attempt, Saudi Arabian officials say, to address the roots of Islamic extremism.
people in most Arab and Muslim countries have no basic beef with the people of the United States or even with the values of the United States. It is more the policies.
Al-Qaeda promises to continue its global holy war as long as the U.S. keeps troops stationed in the Islamic world and continues its support of Israel and unpopular Middle Eastern regimes. Bin Laden and Ayman al-Zawahiri continue to pursue weapons of mass destruction and have repeatedly stated their willingness to use them against American civilians. No one knows if Al-Qaeda is still capable of carrying out an attack on the scale of 9/11. 5 years later, experts say that the war on terror greatly diminished the old Al-Qaeda, but they worry that a new Al-Qaeda could be more dangerous today than ever.
Al-Qaeda, the organization that carried out the September 11th attacks, is much weaker today than it was 5 years ago. Al-Qaeda, the movement, Al-Qaeda, the global ideology, is much stronger than it was 5 years ago.
It's a movement that runs from Bangladesh to Marrakesh. We're doing nothing to deal with that, absolutely nothing. I think that unless we start a discussion quietly with elements of the Islamic world, we lose. End of story. Forget it.
I think you have to believe that they think they're winning.
Al-Qaeda sees the attacks in Madrid and London as stepping stones to a homegrown attack in the United States.
Yesterday, London and Madrid. Tomorrow, Los Angeles, Allah willing. And this time, don't count on us demonstrating restraint or compassion. We are Muslims.
This video is the last time Adam Gaddan appears in disguise. The California teenager who loved heavy metal music is now 28 and notorious as Osama the American, the first American to be charged with treason in over 50 years. Gaddan is accused of giving Al-Qaeda aid and comfort by appearing in its propaganda films.
Anyone who pays any attention
He represents all that Al-Qaeda hopes to be, a truly global movement capable of inspiring Muslims everywhere. The late Abu Musab Zarqawi envisioned 1 million Gaddans, an army of white-skinned militants blending into Western societies and striking at them from within.
I could very easily have been one of those unfortunate souls fighting the losing battle for the other side, or blindly living the life of debt, debauchery, and doubt they call the American dream. We invite all Americans and other unbelievers to Islam. Why not surrender to the truth? Escape from the unbelieving army and join the winning side. Time is running out, so make the right choice.